My name is Amogelang Maledu, and I am an interdisciplinary art practitioner. I work in between curating and research, as well as sessional lecturing. My journey into curating really started with me studying for my curatorship journey. I did a BA honors in curating and subsequently my master's of art and fine art. And yeah, now I curate exhibitions. So my spark for art curating really started with curiosity, generally being influenced by art and creativity growing up in Pretoria, in different contexts, from townships to also moving within a school that specialized with art. And really being curious about the interdisciplinarity of art, not just focusing within visual arts, but looking into music and broadly design, from fashion to even just the sensibilities of creativity, that really sparked my interest in thinking about bringing these artistic practices together and subsequently having an interdisciplinary art practice as a curator, making exhibitions, but also producing research, producing knowledge, pedagogy through art in its variegated nature. So Pretoria has been really fundamental to my love for art. As I mentioned, I grew up in a township, and there within the craziness that is the township, with the injection, there's also a lot of creativity, there's a lot of cultural production and art that comes out of these places. So Pretoria was quite influential in really instigating my love for art, just observing how people create with the very little that they have, seeing how subcultures are formed around music, around dress, around just general ways of seeing life outside of the context that can sometimes be, of course, marginalizing. Creativity was quite influential in kind of reading and seeing those spaces for me. And so, yeah, Pretoria was quite influential to the point that I also studied my high school in art school, that was also very multidisciplinary, focusing on different artistic fields, and as a young person getting inspired by my own peers that were, of course, like-minded and interested in the arts. So Pretoria has had quite a significant influence in how I think and look at art, both in the context of the continent, but also broadly in the world. So for guidance around my exhibitions, it's very important to have a curatorial framework. The curatorial framework really positions the exhibition as a knowledge-making tool. In this regard, you kind of outline specific themes that artists are interested in investigating, because art is not just arbitrarily hanging artworks on a wall, but there is a conscious effort that is involved in the making of art. And as a curator, it's important to sort of tease out these exhibition frameworks or curatorial frameworks that the artist is trying to speak to. So having a sort of cohesive curatorial framework becomes important, and it also allows the audience to enter the exhibition with some form of understanding, where art is not so intimidating, because often these spaces can be intimidating if you don't know what you're walking into. So as a curator, it's important to kind of invite the audience in by creating a framework of some sort, so that people feel less intimidated to kind of investigate the art on their own. So teasing out themes is important, and subsequently also looking at the work. Of course, the curatorial theme is informed by what the artists are making, and that will sort of guide the other open-ended questions that will come out of the exhibition. I think technology in the 21st century is obviously here to stay. We're seeing how incredibly important technology was influential, particularly during the COVID pandemic in 2020. when physical exhibitions and physical artistic outputs were sort of put on a pause, we had to, as art practitioners in the arts, really reconsider how we can have an impact within our artworks, but thinking about them within a different context. And that's where technology became really important, where tools like virtual reality really kind of shed a light to kind of seeing the possibilities of this intersection of art and technology. It's not enough that artworks speak to technology, but how does technology also influence the way artists are making? So it's going to be an increasingly important sort of collaboration, and one that I look forward to, although there's often some ethical questions, especially within the arena of artificial intelligence, but technology as society progresses is of course inevitable. So what motivated me to apply for the MTN Contemporaries Award was really the kind of, I suppose, motivation to springboard my career outside of being an independent curator. As an independent curator, often you do not have institutional support, and often the sort of curatorial exhibitions that you put are independent of you. So entering this award really was a matter of thinking about these two institutions that would sort of create some form of social capital and institutional currency around my own independent practice. Of course, I have worked with various other institutions in my capacity as a curator, and this is an exciting sort of co-collaboration to add on to that kind of independent support that I have. The young minds to art, and just seeing how creativity will impact their trajectories, and just exposing the career of art curating and broadly artistic practices to young people. I think I'm also excited about the VR possibilities, because there is an element of technology that will accompany this exhibition, something that I haven't really worked in. So I'm very excited to see what I learn from that opportunity. I think as an emerging curator, it's very important to have these milestones, especially, as I said, being an independent curator, often you do not have the institutional backing. Most of your exhibitions are self-funded. So it's really exciting to know that part of my trajectory in my career is working with really important institutions like the University of Johannesburg, and of course MTN, which has been instrumental in building a kind of legacy around curatorial practices, and even sort of having a foundation for supporting curators like myself. There's a long history and a legacy of this award, and it's absolutely exciting to sort of join that heritage of especially profiling curating on the continent in South Africa, which is of course a very underrated career still. So I'm really excited to kind of take on that legacy forward.